Okay, so now we will see some commands that are related to manipulation of text, either to see the contents of a text or to find some patterns within the text. And we are focusing on text because usually in bioinformatics we have several files that are just flat files. They contain in simple text format the information that we need to proceed. For example, this file here, the upstream, this one, upstream 1000 known genes.math, is a file that contains alignments of known genes from 20 mammals, if I'm not mistaken, among them humans. And it contains information, the alignments for all known genes. So there are several functions, several programs, several commands that we can apply on such files. But first, let's try to see the contents of this file. And just to see the contents of the file, or just a portion of the contents, because this file is quite large, as we will see, it's 1.5 gigabytes. Okay, you can use the H flag here to make everything human readable. So it's 1.5 gigabytes. So it's quite large. If we want just to see a portion of the contents, we can use commands like the less minus s, or just see the less first. So this is the first line of the file that says that it is a math file. This is some score. We don't pay attention to that. But this first line, which starts here and then ends here, so this is just one line, but because it does not fit within the monitor as a single line, then Linux automatically wraps it. Okay, so this one is a sequence of a human gene that I have no idea what gene it is, and from this point up to this point it gives us the sequence of the gene. And this is here the code that this gene refers to human. Now the second line is the same, or the ortholog, for the chimp. The third line, and so on. So this is just an alignment, and you can see also symbols like dashes, which is an alignment gap, so either insertion or deletion, or like here dots, which I'm not sure what exactly it specifies, either missing data or similar sequences like the first one. Okay, now since it is an alignment, specifically for this file it's not very comfortable to wrap the lines, because an alignment, as the word specifies, it's something aligned, so it's proper to see ortholog sides one under the other. And we can use the -s flag for that, so that the lines will not be wrapped, but they will continue towards the right. And you see here, for example, that the ortholog of this G is this G in chimp, and so on. The ortholog of this G is this G here. Let me see if I see any mutation somewhere. Okay, this is not very clear here. For example, here there is a T for the rhesus macaque, but there is an A for the papan. So it seems that the ancestral state is the T, but in relation to the ancestral state, this animal here has a A in this position. Okay, in any case, this is just an alignment, and definitely throughout the classes of bioinformatics you will see several alignments like that. Now, okay, using the -s flag, capital S flag, I'm able to see this as a single line, every line as a single line here. And if I want to see the contents on the right, then I just have to use the arrows to go towards the right. If I want to go down, then I can either use the enter button or use the arrow that points towards myself, so the down arrow. If I want to go up, I can use the up arrow. But if I want to go one page at the bottom, so one monitor at the bottom, I can use the white space. And they just scroll faster. Now the less has a nice option that it can allow me to search for words. So if I just type slash, then I can type something here, press enter, and we'll find all the occurrences of pantro, of the word that I put there. If I want to use some specific pattern, let's say ACACTC, and I find here all the occurrences of the ACACTC highlighted. So less is a quite nice small program, or quite nice command in the terminal to use. Another command similar to less is the more command, which wraps the words, the lines, as you see here. Now the more has, in my opinion, just a single advantage over the less. Now if I exit the program, which I do it both in less and more by pressing Q, so if I press Q, the program will exit, then it will continue to show me the information that was visible in the screen. In contrast, if I do less and I press Q, everything disappears. So with more it's like that. And which means that if I'm interested in some information here that I'm going to use for the next command, then I can do that easily, because I can copy paste the information from here. Another interesting program that there is no by default in Linux, but you can install it easily, at least using sudo apt install, is the program most. Maybe I have installed it already. Okay, there is some, it's locked because some process is using the apt. Okay, but I think I have installed it. So most, and the file name, which is this one, similar to less, just has nice colors here, it has a cursor up here, and so on. That's very similar to less. Let's see. Yeah, it can search also. AACT, for example. Nice. And also it tells me here on which line and what column of the file I am. So now I'm in the line 78 and column 23. Okay. So with these three programs, more, less, and most, I can see the contents of some files. Another useful command to see the contents is the cat command. So cat comes from the word concatenate and allows me to concatenate files. So to put one file under the other. For example, I have these small files here, file 1 that just has one line, this one, and file 2, which has these three lines, 1, 2, 3. Now if I want to concatenate them, I can use cat file 1, file 2, and it will show with this order, first the file 1 and then file 2 under it. So you see here file 1 has only this line, and then file 2 that also has this line, the second line of file 2 and the third line of file 2. So then it's very, very easy to concatenate these files and see the information together. And since we know some things about files and cat, maybe it's time now to demonstrate the redirection command. Redirect. So redirect has the following meaning. Or before the redirect, I will show you two more commands that will allow us to take portions of the file. So the head command with the flag -10 or 110, let's say 5 here, and the name of the file, it will just print out the first 5 lines of the file. So head is used to print out the first 5 lines, the first 10 lines of the file. If I use the command tail, it will print out the last 5 lines of the file. Now if I will use, so this is equivalent to just to say -5 will print out the last 5 lines, and head -5 the first 5 lines. Let me see, if I use tail +5, it will print everything but the 5 lines. So if I will use tail +1,000,000, it will print everything but the last 5,000,000 lines. The last 1,000,000 lines, sorry. Alright, so this is head and tail. And now let's come to the redirect options. So let's say that we get the first 10 lines of this file, and we want to save it to another file called first 10 lines. I can use this symbol here, the greater than, and redirect the output from the standard output, which is the monitor here, to a file. So first 10 lines of upstream.txt, for example. So let's see the contents now of this new file. Just the first 10 lines of the previous file, and we can see that here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is the redirect command. Now you should be careful when you use the redirect command, and the reason is the following. When you use this symbol, the first thing that is done is to create this file, and then it runs this command, and instead of printing everything on the screen, it puts everything on this file, which means that if you will do by mistake this thing here, it will destroy this file because it will make a new one, and then it will try from this destroyed, no, sorry, let me do it properly, like that. So if I will run this command, then it will first create this file, and it will do that, of course, by destroying the file that already was there. So this upstream 1000 known genes.math, it will be destroyed, a new one empty will be created, and then it will try to get the first 10 lines of this file that is actually destroyed, so it will print out nothing. And in addition, you will lose this file that you had in your computer. So be very careful with the redirect command. Okay, now if we just run this command, I told you that you will get this file that will contain the first 10 lines of this file, and then there is another command. If I run it again, by the way, I will just overwrite this file with a new one with the same name, right? But there is another redirection, which is the append redirection, this one. And what this append will do is that it will not destroy the file, but at the end of this file it will go to put this information here. So now this file, if I will see the contents, it will be the first n lines, and then at the bottom the first n lines again. Okay, so this is the redirection command. Now, one thing that I forgot with, so cat is useful for that, because you can use file 1, file 2, that I told you that it will concatenate the two files, but now I can redirect this to, let's say, concat file 1, 2. So this concat file 1, 2 is just a concatenation of these two files. We want to see the contents. Will just be this line again, because it was the first line in file 2, this core, and this line here. Okay. So cat has another nice option here, usually the -n flag. Let's see with the concat, that it will print out in the beginning of every line the line number. So line 1, line 2, line 3, and line 4 is all this line here. And sometimes it's quite useful, as we will see later on. Okay, so this is the cat. Now, so these are the some basic commands that we use to view the contents of file, like more, less, most, and cat, and we saw also the redirection. Quite often we need to search for patterns within the files. For example, let's say that I need to search for the patterns ACACAC, ACCACA within the file. I can use the command grep, put in quotes the pattern that I want to search for, and then the name of the file. Now what this will do is that it will try to find these letters as they appear here within this file. Not as a single word, but just to find these letters here one after the other. A, C, C, A, C, A. And it will print out every line that contains such a pattern. In order to see that in more detail, we can use the flag minus color that will highlight in a different color this motif. Color. So for example, here you see that in this line you found ACC, ACA, and here ACC, ACA, and here ACC, ACA. So it will print out all the lines, every line that contains a pattern. Okay, this for the moment. We will continue in the next video.